All right, so that time of year again, let's update my worst mistakes as far as money lost, being in business, all that good stuff. Let's roll it. All right, like the title says, some of this, if you guys, I'll link in the description my other videos about mistakes I've made, but some of these are probably going to be repeats, but I've got a couple other ones to got to update this list, unfortunately. Good learning experiences. Okay, so we'll get right into it. When I first started out, yeah, I misbid jobs, and like everybody does, you know, you work for free for a couple times until you learn your lesson. One, just as an example, there's a video cubby basically behind the TV. You make a cubby for like a DVR and a DVD player as long as they have RF capability, all that kind of stuff. So I bid it out like $400 to build this box and recess it into the wall itself because there's a vacancy. So there was plenty of space. It was like 18 inches by 14 inches deep, you know, 15 inches tall, kind of, you know, just a cube basically. And I think it was like $400 part in materials and labor. I ended up being there, I think, for one full day and almost 2 full days, and that's $400 materials included too. So, yeah, definitely lost my butt on that job. And I think even back then, I think my labor rate was like $75 an hour or something like that. So, lost money on that one for sure. Now I do by day rates now. So obviously I learned my lesson with that one, but that was a big mistake for myself. I still did them a couple times, but the cubby wise, it's just, I mean, there's so many variables, and you know, if you want to put electrical back there and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of got out of it, but I learned my lesson and lost some money on that one for sure. So next one would be my completely fault. I was doing a mirror. There's like a couple sconces inside of a mirror, so you had to drill through the mirror to get, you know, the electrical and everything. So I was replacing those sconces with something else, and I did charge a pretty good amount. I think I charged like, oh man, I think it was like probably like $300 or $400 per sconce, because, you know, liability wise, I knew, like I had common sense, like, well, man, if you want me to do it, it's gonna be like $600 because if something happens, I gotta replace that mirror. So got done. I got the sconces installed, and I was just basically small, tighten the screws down, and pretty simple. And then I had it all done, and I hopped off the little, you know, the vanity, and then I heard a little tink, and then yep, the big 7x4 foot mirror had a big crack down the center of it. So guess what I got to buy? I got to buy a mirror. Called my local mirror shop, gave them the measurements, and you know, it was like $500 for the mirror. So they had to cut it to size. Mirror arrives like a week later or something like that. Wrong size. So I was like, you know, I put the mirror up. I was like, it's like a foot too short. So you know, it's like 6x4 instead of 7x4. So I look, and I gave him the wrong measurements. I told him 6x4. So I was obviously frustrated and everything. So I was like, oh no, and obviously there was no refund. I had to buy another mirror. So anyway, so I basically, you know, I think a couple days passed or something like that. So I called, ordered the mirror again, and you know, I had to pay again. You know, it is what it is. And the mirror shows up again, wrong size again. So I look, I gave him the wrong size mirror twice. Like I just, you know, going too fast, whatever it was. So he didn't even believe me. The guy didn't even believe. He's like, yeah, I gave you the wrong size mirror. I need another mirror, 7x4, not 6x4. And third time was the charm. Came, and same price. It took me pretty much all day to take the other one, you know, break the other one down, and then put the new one back up. And you know, being very, very careful. And it took me probably 5-6 hours or so. So pretty much a whole day's, you know, labor wasted. Put it up there, put everything in there, boom, got it done, fixed, boom, great. So it cost me 3 mirrors at $1,500 and a whole day's labor. So that's probably, you know, what are you gonna, a little bit less than $2,500 really. So lost to me. Yeah, so I learned my lesson from that one as well. But, you know, that was my mistake. Just slow down, you know, make sure all my measurements, write everything down, double, triple check. Like I just measured non-returnable cable railing for a deck job, and I went and triple checked my measurements. Like I literally went back there, double check. I didn't even bring my prior notes. I just went and measured again, and I compared the two. So just to double check my numbers, because I didn't want to order $10,000 in railing and have it, you can't return it kind of thing. So anyways, learned that lesson as well. Next one, I mean, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. Had a customer OCD. I didn't kind of know this job was like about $4,300, and I lost money on it, not because I priced it incorrectly, it's because of all the small things, and there's many things in my contract that I've updated for that from that customer, because man, there's you know, like they just wanted everything perfect, and it was a form of perfection that they were not paying for. So, and I actually told, you know, there's certain things I told them, like, you're not paying for, you know, it's like in drywall. You want, okay, this wall will be this amount of money, but then they're expecting like a level 5 finish, and you're like, well, you're not paying for a level 5 finish, so you got to either subtract, you know, lower your expectations, or you can pay the money and we can level 5 it, and it's just going to take more time, kind of thing. So it's basically that kind of thing. They're, you know, super picky about everything. And yeah, I lost money because of all that, you know, I wanted to please them, I wanted to make it right, kind of thing. But at the same time, it was more of, now, are they taking advantage of me, or are they actually, you know, is there something wrong? Like so I went back, like, okay, per our contract, yes. Per our contract, no, kind of thing. So, you know, like they wanted me to pay for like a furnace tune-up and stuff. I was like, no, I'm not. No, like that's not true. I'll pay to clean your house, because that's, you know, what I should do after a pretty large remodel, you know, $40,000 little minor remodel job. But that's basically as far as it's going to go, right? So, yeah. That was me not knowing the customers. And again, my wife, she's like, don't take that job. I'm like, oh, it's money. I kind of like money. And I took the job, and I honestly, looking back on it, obviously should have took the job, lost money on it. Not actually like physical money, but the labor wise, me just going back there constantly going back there, spending so much time, like my hourly wage is probably below minimum wage, really. So yeah, OCD customers. And there's also another customer I could fall into that OCD thing as well. Still made money on him, and also made more money because he referred me to a couple other clients. So it's hard to, you know, kind of lump him in the same, but he is, you know, he would be in the same, you know, very picky kind of thing. And so, you know, neither one of them are going to be my customer again, but, you know, make sure they're happy, you know, fulfilled it. That way I can get a good review, and we can part ways, basically. So we'll never do it. We know we're never going to work with them ever again. They may not know that, but we can still, you know, I can still not save face, but, you know, do my job, make sure they're happy, and we can part ways. So yeah, there's that one. So I did have a customer that was bipolar. I actually, probably the only customer that I actually fired, because they, you know, we were doing a small little deck with the overhang, like an, you know, a front entryway kind of thing, not enclosed. It does have a roof on it, so it's, you know, small $14,000 job, I want to say. I mean, I say small, but like that's, you know, pretty small for what I'm doing now, which is kind of shows how far I came, you know. So, but, and then we were digging, my prior employee and I were digging, and we're there, and like she came, like we were doing something, and she came out. She's like, you know, Richard, you never intended to do this job. And like we were there on site, digging the footings for the deck. Like we were there on nice. I mean, come on. So, so as you know, time out. Like, well, something's going on here. And then I was like, all right, well, we can go back here. I can go back and, you know, modify the permit, all that kind of stuff. But then, you know, she sent me a text like, hey, I called, and the permit's not the right permit. Something weird, like, I know. So I was like, all right, you know, let's cancel the contract. You know, within my contract, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I had to follow my contract stipulations in writing. Boom. This is when we're gonna, you know. And then I basically took, you know, she gave me a pretty large deposit because of materials and everything. So I returned what I needed to and gave her a deposit back, less the fees on my contract. So the fees for pulling the permit and my day of labor, all that kind of stuff. So she got most of her money back, but I did keep some because she owed me it, basically. So yeah, I mean, again, you know, customer screening on my end needs to be better. That's always going to be, I'm very picky right now. Like it's like, I have to, like, if there's any inclination of any kind of issues or anything. And I kind of knew in the first place, because it was like, you know, I was like, for some reason, she called me, obviously she reached out to me and everything, but it was like pulling teeth, and like she was doing me a favor kind of thing. And she just like, you know, like I was inconveniencing her being on her, you know, property doing work that she required. So it was kind of weird. So yeah, that was, the bipolar-ish customer that I had that I fired is, man, that was a mistake on my end as well. Didn't lose money, but it was definitely not a great experience and caused a lot of stress in my life because, nobody likes it. She did, if you guys go back, she's the one who filed like a complaint against my license, basically. So obviously I sent all my paperwork in and told her it was bogus, all that kind of stuff. So nothing ever became of it, actually, and nothing's on the state and on my license at all. So yeah, so that was a learning experience and a mistake for sure. So another one going back a while is a drywall job I did. Actually, it was a small kitchen in the basement. It was like just a small. They're making it basically a small like apartment-ish unit. It wasn't even a galley. It was like a couple cabinets, a couple upper cabinets, a stove, and a refrigerator. Like, it was pretty small with some Formica counters and pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Small, I hired out the plumbing and did the electrical myself. I didn't really, there wasn't much electrical anyway there, but in the drywall, there wasn't much of drywall work anyway, but did everything. We're pretty much almost close to done. And then I left, and then I get an email like with all these pictures about the drywall. Like, there's like, if you took, you looked at the drywall, and like at the right, when the sun was setting on the right side, you could see a little mark or something like that. And then there's like a small little chip missing from, if you took the wall plate off of a outlet underneath next to the actual outlet itself. And there was like, a small spot where I missed sanding or something like that, and that you can only see it on a certain like angle. So he's like, oh, we need, this is, bad drywall job. And it wasn't even like, we're talking less than a sheet of drywall work, like it was about a sheet maybe, like if he broke it up, but it wasn't much. I think I charged him like $400 because there's a bunch of patching and, stuff like that. So, they were like, oh, my wife's unhappy with this. And he's like, we had another drywall company, another contractor come in, and then they quoted like, I think it was like $1,800 to do the work. So we need you to pay for that to fix the job, kind of thing. So I was like, time out, like, that's not happening. First off, if you guys don't want me to do the work, fine, I'll refund you. I have no problem. I'll refund you like the $400, $460, whatever it was. I forget. It was less than $500. So I was like, hey, I'll just, all for you. You don't have to, because they said it in their email or their text, I forget. They didn't want to pay for drywall work twice. I was like, all right, well, I'll refund you my $460, and you can pay the other contractor the $1,900 to go do the drywall. That way, you're not paying for it twice, basically. So that way, nothing to do with me. That way, you can do. So he was fine with that. He's like, all right, good. Then that's fine. I stopped by, hand him a check. We're completely cordial. Hey, we're all done here. I'm releasing me of the drywall work. I'm not warranting anything. And then I came back for a warranty, I think, on the sink, because I set it and it shifted or something like that. So he wanted me to reset it with the silicone and everything. So I came back, drywall work was done. And honestly, it was, my spots that he was saying, that obviously went over again, but at the same time, there's other glaring drywall issues. So, and he said, oh, he's like, that was a lot of money, because I got another quote, and it was like, like $1,000. So I was way cheaper than everybody else but that's why I knew I would need to raise my prices, really. So anyways, that was, a small refund. Now looking back on it, small refund, but at the same time, good customer relations, a good customer experience as far as handling not a difficult customer complaint. So yeah, that was another one. Let's not do that again, right? So, I'm not the best at drywall. I'm investing, and I am going to be better at drywall, because I'm redoing my entire basement, and I'm doing all the drywall work. So I'm going to practice on that one. Plus, obviously, we have some jobs coming up. So I don't necessarily enjoy it, but if I get more proficient at it and better at it, I think I will. So it's one of those. I don't really love hanging drywall above my head, but at the same time, like once you're done, like it's like, wow, we're done. It's good. It's like painting. Like once you paint, you're like, whoa, like it's a complete different room, basically. So on to the next one. So my last one, basically I'm going to lump it up into hiring the wrong subcontractors and employees, whatever you want to. But at the same time, that was costing me the most money over this entire time. It got me fired from a job, from a bad sub, and actually the same bad sub not only got me fired from a job, it cost me money on that job as well. I have to refund $7,000 to another customer because of his bad tile work. And now I've already spent like $2,800 trying to fix it with my current tile contractor, which he's great. But at the same time, he's let me know, he's like, hey man, we need to tear this out. So I, told my customers, like, here's your money back, basically. And that's going to happen here pretty soon. Once we're completely done with the job. No warranty on it. I'm done doing it, and there's no more work with the customer. Once we're all done with this, that's it. We're all set. But it cost me, it's $7,000, right? That's a tough pill to swallow. I'm not gonna lie. But it's the right thing to do, because yeah, it didn't meet the customer's expectations, and there's some spots in the area where it needed to be better for sure. But we can chase those. Half of it's on my side for not educating the customer as far as what to expect, and also not knowing and not paying attention enough to know that the product chosen is not really suitable for the location and the house and the way that they want it. So it is what it is. And then obviously hiring the wrong employee, these time loss, mistakes, paying somebody to fix their own mistake kind of thing, and doing it over and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how much money I spent. With he was a little older than me, or not older than me. He was a little younger than me, but not too much younger. And it is what it is. I hired a couple of them at the same time, so I think I grew a little faster than I wanted to, or I needed to at the time. So yeah, now it's just me and then subcontractors, and as long as it's the proper subcontractors, we're doing pretty good. But man, the wrong employees and the wrong subcontractors really cost me tens of thousands of dollars. That's let's keep it that way. It's a lot of money. So, but small businesses, you're gonna grow, and you're gonna have those pains, and I certainly have. So that's basically the gist of it. That's all I have right now, guys. That's all I want, really. I hope I don't do one of these videos again for a while, because it's getting expensive. It really is. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video.